Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. I am with a very special guest today, Darrynton Evans, Chicago Bears running back. Darrynton, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you for having me, man.
So, one question that I ask all players that come on, and you can answer it honestly, but does ketchup belong on a hot dog?
Oh man, so look, I'm from the South. I'm from Florida. I was told when I first got here to answer no. But when at home, potentially it may or may not end up on there, but when I'm up here, nah, it's not touching it.
Hey, okay, so that's the answer we're looking for, because that's like a do or die with Bears fans, man. Like if they see ketchup on a hot dog, you're running for the hills.
Right.
But technically, you run it through the garden to get a tomato on there. So I guess you're kind of flirting with
Right.
both.
Right.
So
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Kind of just to start things off, for those who might not know Darrynton, he is from Daytona Beach, Florida, and attended Appalachian State from 2016 to 2019, where he was the Sunbelt Offensive Player of the Year in 2019 and two-time First-Team All-Sunbelt in 2018 and 2019. He was drafted by the Titans in the third round in 2019, where he spent his first two seasons and then came to the Chicago Bears. So, Darrynton, can you share with everyone, because not many people can say they were drafted into the NFL, and you were drafted pretty early too. Can you kind of talk about what was going through your head as your cell phone started ringing when you were getting the call?
Man, it was crazy. I would say for me, coming from a small school, Appalachian State, man, like we recently put out a lot of guys into the NFL. But it's tough compared to those Power Five schools, man. So even with the numbers I had compared to other backs coming out, my numbers could have been doubled. It's a lot of dudes who had half the stats I've had and still went drafted in front of me. I still had teams calling me, telling me you're going undrafted. We'll pick you up once you go undrafted, or we don't think you can do this, or we don't think you can do that. But we may still try and bring you in for a workout. So like hearing that kind of stuff, kind of it rubbed me the wrong way. And then draft night came and my phone started ringing. I was just like, oh, this is happening. Like this is happening right now. Man, I got the call from J Rob. He was the GM at the time in Tennessee. Man, I appreciate J Rob for taking a chance on me getting this thing rolling, bro. But like it's an undescribable feeling for sure.
I mean, like, did like your like whole football playing career at that moment like flash before your eyes? Like, this is it. Like, I'm going to the NFL. And when it was Tennessee calling, were you expecting that at all, or no?
Nah, not really. So generally how the draft goes, man, like from a lot of guys I've talked to, it's the teams you talk to the least that end up
Mhm.
getting you. So I talked to Tennessee one time. Just
Wow,
one time.
really?
Like, yeah, just one time. And I talked to when I tell you I swore, I told my parents, I said, look, I'm gonna be with the Colts, I'm gonna be with the Bills, I'm gonna be with the Chiefs. Who else? I'm gonna be with the Panthers. Like those were the top four teams when I was coming out that was calling me like every single, like, you know what I'm saying? Like checking on me. The 49ers, like those teams were calling. The Cardinals too, I think. Yeah, those were like the main teams. I'm like, yo, these they won't give me a break. Like, dang. But then, when it was Tennessee, I'm like, shoot, I only talked to them one time. But at the same time, it was kind of different because it was COVID when we came. So we went to the combine, and then after the combine, they kind of shut everything down. So I didn't even have a pro day. So it's
Oh,
it's a little,
wow.
yeah, it's a little different process for that 2020 class, man, compared to everybody else. But nah, I was definitely surprised.
Well, I mean, congratulations. I mean, the third round is no joke either. I mean, like, clearly you're recognized. And like, one thing before we get into a little bit what you're doing, while you're off the football field, is if like, what was the team that you were expecting? I know you just gave a big list, but who
Yeah,
was it that you thought you were going to?
personally, I thought it was going to the Bucks. To be real, the Bucks or the Falcons.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, the Bucks, they needed a back. We all knew they were drafting a back. Um, and then the Falcons, I think Todd Gurley just finished up his contract and everything, so they didn't have anybody. Um, but I would say it just depends because different backs do different things, different body types, and different teams have different plans for guys. So my draft class, we had Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift. AJ Dillon, guys of those names, to where those guys are, day one coming in first, second down backs. For me, my route was a little different, to where I played behind Derrick Henry. My rookie year, he rushed for 2,000 yards, so it's not too much, getting in when he's rushing for 2,000 yards. Like, you can't pay nobody enough to tell you that even if you outperforming somebody, that he needs to play in front of his 2,000-yard rusher, who ended up being the player of the year, offensive player of the year. So, um, I knew my role was going to be a little bit different, being more of a change of pace, third down back kind of guy, play special teams. So I kind of had to get it out the mud a little bit more than just being that. All right, we drafted you, here, run the ball. No, I gotta run the ball. I gotta do pass protection. I gotta do third down, knowing where all these blitzes coming from. Third down gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of got to do everything and just be ready to get thrown into that first, second down back role in case something did happen.
Well, that is crazy, because like a lot of people just think like, oh, you're gonna get drafted in the NFL, you're just gonna do what you were doing before.
Nah.
It's not. It doesn't sound like it's that way. Like the couple of guys we've had on the show, like your whole entire play type changes. So it
Yeah.
sounds like that happened to you too.
I would say, if you look at my college film, and shoot, you can tell. I'm gonna ask you, from the little bit of plays you saw this year, what kind of player do you think I am?
Fast and a playmaker. I like, honestly, like you and Khalil Herbert remind me, like you guys complement each other
Yeah.
very well. Like if Herbert was tired and you went in, it was like you weren't losing that type of player.
Right.
Like it was dynamic. You had to do both. Like kind of like when we had Cohen a couple years ago.
Yep.
Exact. That's what I saw when I saw you the couple times when I was at Soldier Field and when I was
Right.
on TV.
So my thing is, when you look at my college film, that's what you see. You see explosive plays. You see a guy who's getting the ball in space, and he's a playmaker. But the thing is, when I got to the league, they already had somebody who's their main guy. So it's like, although I can do all these things, I didn't really get the opportunity to show, or I didn't get the opportunity to do these things that I normally do, that I feel like is generally just easy for me to do, because I've always done it. So now
Right.
I'm in a position where I gotta kind of wait and see, like, get in where I can fit in. And that's just how it is for me right now. And that's kind of, the role I gotta take to get back to that point.
Well, you did a great job when you did get the opportunity. I know it was like such a weird year because there were so many, we drafted Ebner and then
Yeah.
you came in and signed, and then we had Herbert who exploded on the scene, and then Monty
Yeah.
was Monty. So, but hey, like we appreciate what you did for the Bears when you were on the field. And I know that it was a 1-year contract, but who knows? Like obviously you're in Chicago right now, like still, like we'd love to have you back. You look at the jerseys in the background, you got a lot of friends that like to play with you as well. So, but speaking of that, while you're not on the field, you are doing a lot of things off the field. So obviously right here, right now, we're doing content creation, and that's something that you're getting pretty well known for across the gaming community. Can you talk a little bit about what got you into content creation and where everyone can find you? And I'll post the links in the description for everyone to find, but can you kind of talk about that experience?
Yeah. So for me, it was kind of like, I've always been around it, growing up, man, playing the game, or, making videos, just doing different things, being silly, man. But probably my second to last year in college, my cousin, who's a pro Madden player, he's one of the top in the world, top 5, every year. He was like, yo, you should get into, what I'm saying, Twitch and YouTube, and dropping videos playing the game, because you're naturally good at the game, and people really want to get to know you. Like, you can use it as a way for your fans to get to know you, everybody to get to know you on a more personal level, rather than hearing it through a ESPN or Sports Center, waiting for a report after a game. So that's the kind of the reason why I got into it, because my rookie year was a COVID year, so we didn't have fans that came to training camp, we didn't have fans at our games, so it really was no fan player interaction for the whole year 2020. So what I did starting in 2020 was, look, at the end of games, I'm gonna go live on Twitch during the week. I'm gonna go live on Twitch to allow fans to come in. You can ask me questions, just talk to me. Honestly, man, I met some of the coolest people that are, what I'm saying, fans of whatever team I'm at, even rival teams. Like, it's crazy. Like, some of the coolest people that have came to my content, and we talk, and now we got a relationship. We talk every day. Like, literally, I talk to everybody in my stream every day. Like, it's crazy, and the support is wild, to where I go to different states playing different teams, and I'm seeing signs from their team with fans saying it's live. I watch you on Twitch, or it's live. I watch you on YouTube, or can my son play the, what I'm saying, play you in Madden, like things like that. And I'm like, bro, like this is sick. Like I'm changing lives in a way I never really thought I would be, but just by me taking time out of my day to, all right, this little kid's 10 years old. He wants to play Madden. Look, let me play him in Madden. You know what I'm saying? So I'll play kids in Madden, I'll play everybody in Madden, and I'll put a video out just to show out, you know what I'm saying, let everybody know, like, hey, if you want to play, bro, just tell me you want to play. We can play. Set it up in front of the stream. You got people watching, no pressure. So it's like a lot of people get on there and they fold, but it's no pressure, man, and it's just cool to do. And people give me a whole bunch of thank yous. Like, you should see my DMs from everybody that comes in, man. It's like, generally you see a lot of negativity around sports athletes playing games and dropping content saying you should and shouldn't be doing stuff. But when you see the things behind the scenes and how it's affecting people, it makes me want to do it even more.
That's awesome. Like, some experience, like we were kind of talking about before, and
Yeah.
from a fan's perspective, like as a fan, I reach out to other players and I like try to like talk to them, like, hey, would love to have you come on the show. And that's just from the show's perspective. But like, I could not imagine when I was 10 years old coming home from school and being like, I get to play with an NFL athlete, like
Yeah.
like all the time. And he talks to me. And this guy, like, I look at him and like I watch him on TV, like making plays. Like, I think what you're doing is such a good thing. And I think more athletes should do it and not be ashamed of it. And trust me, like guys like Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes, like have schedules where they don't have time to play video games. But, you're a human being. Like before we hopped on here, you and I talked for what, 25 minutes, just like having a good conversation, just talking, because everyone's a human. You just play football for a living.
Right.
And that's awesome. But I really respect what you're doing, man. And I'll put everything, you're going to send me all your links and everything, but where can people find, watch you, talk to you, get to know you better through gaming?
So for me, everything is Darrynton Evans, or it's live with a Z and 3 E's in it, man, on all platforms. You can find me, stay up to date on everything. I will be doing an event in Chicago on February 26th in the Schaumburg area. I'm gonna make sure I get that to bro to where he can let y'all know. We haven't finalized everything from a promotional standpoint, but once I can send out the exact location, everything, I'll make sure I get it to him. It's a meet and greet. I'll be signing things. I'll be giving stuff away. I may be giving away some jerseys. I may be giving away some game systems, different things. So you can show up, talk ball, bring your kids, do whatever, man. It's just a come hang out, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. And, just to build a different experience, I'll hopefully have some of my other teammates come out and, just make it something that everybody never forgets.
Yeah, and like Darrynton said, I will be talking about that on future shows coming up. All the prospect videos, mock drafts, and free agent videos. I will definitely be bringing that information and all of our socials. You guys can see it at the top of the screen. But absolutely make sure you follow him on Twitter as well, where you'll see that. But I will talk about it for sure, and I'll be there. Like he told me about it before we logged on, and I was like, "Listen, I'm there. Like we're gonna have a good time." So for those who are at the Murphy's viewing party, it's going to be just like that, but even better. So absolutely make sure that you go. I'll be giving out the information. Darrynton will be giving out the information as well, but would love to see you all there. And I know Darrynton would too. So it sounds like a lot of fun, man. I'm excited, man.
Appreciate it.
So let's go into a little bit about some things that I'm going to ask ahead of time that fans can ask more about at your event. But obviously you're on here because you came and played for the Chicago Bears. And this season in fans' eyes was, and I'll say this as a fan, like I've been a fan for almost 26 years now, or at least that I can remember. And like one thing that just stands out to me about this team this past season was that the foundation and the culture was so much different. So you were waived by the Tennessee Titans earlier in the season, and you were picked up pretty quick by the Chicago Bears. What was your reaction when Ryan Poles came calling you?
Man, so it was different. I was expecting to go somewhere else. I had some other teams in mind that I knew I had a chance to go to. And then I got the call from my agent. He was like, "You got picked up on waivers." I was like, "All right, where I'm going? Like, is it where we talked about?" And he was like, "Nah, you're going to Chicago." So when he told me, I was like, "Chicago." So then I kind of had to just like sit back and reflect. I'm like, they got a new GM. They got a new head coach. They got new everything.
Everything.
So I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna be, but look, I'm just ready to go up here. You know what I'm saying? Just put my best foot forward and do whatever I gotta do to help the team win.
That's awesome. I like when we picked you up, a lot of fans, and like you said, there's a lot of negativity that comes
Yeah.
with especially Chicago fans were nuts about the Bears.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, who's this guy? But
Right.
then we posted, we're like, actually, this is Darrynton Evans.
Yeah.
And like we were all pretty excited about it over here at Just Another Year Chicago, Nick, Tony, and myself,
Right.
My two co-hosts. So obviously you came to Chicago. Pretty awesome that in your reaction said it all. You're like, oh, okay, I'm down. Sounds like a good time.
Mhm.
And you also told me before the show that the city's amazing. We all know that. But from an outsider coming in, the city's incredible. And, when you got to, like, did you come to Chicago right away? Was it a couple week process? Like, what happened? How did you get here? And what was your initial, the next day?
Next day. That's how quick things happen in the NFL, man. So, I got released by Tennessee, and then literally 24 hours later, that's when the waiver wire, that's how that process hits, and you figure out whether you got picked up on waivers or if you got to do workouts. So, I had like nine teams or so, 9 to 12 teams or so trying to, contact my agent, get in contact, whatever. But I guess where the Bears fell at on the waiver wire list, they had like top priority. So yeah, then, next day came up here, did my physicals, everything, made sure I was, cleared and everything. And I was a Bear, man. It's like, coming up here, the city's amazing. Like it's crazy. Me and my wife talk about it all the time. Like it's so much to do here, and there's so much like tradition from a sports side of things. It's so much like everything, so much culture. And like I've never been in a place outside of college, Appalachian State, our fans go crazy. Shout out to App State, Roll Nearest. But like outside of that, man, when I tell you, like y'all fans go hard regardless of the sport. You got the Chicago Bears, you got the Chicago Bulls, you got the Blackhawks, you got the Sky who just won the championship a year ago. You got the soccer team, like you got everything, and it's like regardless of how the record is showing, whether it's 17-0, it could be 0-17. Like I've been places to where you can still be winning, and then you lose 1 week, and then people don't show up. Up here, like I'm telling you, it was negative 34 degrees wind chill versus the Buffalo Bills. That was the coldest game I ever played in. But that stadium was still packed. I'm like, yo, these people are crazy, but I love it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just different. So, I really appreciate, Chicago bringing me in, all the fans embracing me, even though I didn't get to play as much as I wanted to. But, I appreciate the love from everybody who's, saw the effort I put in and, appreciated it. But speaking on what you said about coming in, man, everybody's saying, who is this guy? Like, I'm used to that. I played in Tennessee behind Derrick Henry. Like I said, he ran for 2,000 yards. So it's like, who's going to tell anyone otherwise but to hand him the ball? So I really didn't expect, to have a crazy uproar about signing me. I knew I had to come in and make a name for myself.
And listen, man, like, when you had the opportunity, we talked about it earlier, like you made plays. And that's something that Bears fans, as long as you're putting your heart out there, that's what Bears fans love. And I mean, I'm sure you were in college at the time, but like 2018, the year that things could have been way different. I mean, that was a magical year. I was in college. I think did you graduate in 2019 or 2018?
So I graduated, you could say 2019. I had one class left once I left in 2019, and I did that as I was doing my pre-draft process for the 2020 draft.
Yeah, so I was a senior at Illinois State University when in 2018, going into 2019, that season, and all my roommates and I, shout out to the 75A guys, that first night, Bears Packers, where Khalil Mack, his opening night as a Bear, like that season was special, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we've been fiending for it. And obviously, the last regime was not ideal after 2018. We did make the playoffs in 2020. Things got a little tough for a while, though. And, people seeing the success of Mahomes and what was going on in Chicago, it was tough. But at the end of the day, we love our Bears. Like, and if you ever watch The Last Dance, Jerry Reinsdorf even says himself, before the Bulls had the dynasty, Chicago is a Bears town, thick and thin, no matter what, all the way through. And, everyone can, from a sports perspective, everyone can agree on the Bulls and everyone can agree on the Blackhawks. but even Packers fans in this area, Vikings fans, Lions fans, they're like, Bears fans are nuts about the
Yep.
Bears. So, from a player, it feels good for a player to say, because like you see like notes all the time. Like I appreciate the support from the fans, but like you actually saying that, only being here for a year, and who knows, you could be back. We don't know that yet, but for you to say that, that means a lot. So it clearly shows that really we are as crazy as we
Hey,
we
look,
are.
never. Hey, I pray y'all never change, yo. Like when I tell you, like I came here with Ari Blasingame and from Tennessee and other guys from different teams. Like everybody, it was a lot of new faces in this locker room. And the one thing that all these new faces from different teams we all can agree on was like, yo, these people here, it's something different about this city, man. Like I love it. It's wild. So look, as a fan of the Bears, man, I hope y'all never change and just keep being y'all, yo. Just keep being y'all.
So I ran into Tevin Jenkins one time right outside of
Yeah.
Hallis Hall. He was leaving. Last year he had the back issue. This is before they moved him to right guard. This is actually during the drama that happened in the beginning of the season. And he's walking out of this restaurant and I see Tevin, and you can't miss him.
You can't miss him.
And I go, yo, Tevin. And he looks at me like he like acted like we knew each other. He's like, what's up, man? Like we shook up.
Yeah, cool.
And I messaged him. I'm like, I'd love to have you come on the show. So hopefully he likes my tweets every now and then. We had Larry Borum's mom come on too. She's nicest lady ever. If you've haven't met her,
Larry, my guy.
Larry's a good guy. And like just there's so many good players, and like you guys are awesome, and we love embracing our guys. I mean, there is someone that will not be named from the 2018 season, was the last person I know that was ran out of this city. So if you can kind of guess who it was, maybe it had to do with the playoff game.
Like
yeah, nothing. But we love our Bears players, man. Like, so thank you for being so cool about it. And like, I'm sure at the Schaumburg event, people are going to be like, giving you hugs and all that stuff. And we love that you guys embrace that. So
look, open arms, man. Open arms.
That's what we like to hear, man. That's what we like to hear. So kind of going into, we kind of talked about it already, but, Matt Eberflus is your head coach, and it's his first year being a head coach. What was it like to play for Flus? Like, because this culture is from the ground up being built, Ryan Poles and him. What was it like to play for Coach Eberflus?
Yeah, it's different. Going from a team to where everything was very like already set, like the coach has already been built, and then coming to a team where they're trying to find it. Tennessee, everything was built. Coach Vrabel did a great job of establishing an identity and how we were going to play. And coming here, you can tell that Coach Eberflus is trying to build that identity with our team. And they're gonna get the right pieces, put everything in place to where, when the time comes to show it, it's gonna be through the roof, man. It's gonna be through the roof. But everything is definitely very straightforward. Make sure you're hardworking. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot take a play off. Everything has to be 100 miles per hour, full effort all the way through. That's how he coaches, and that's the players he expect to have.
That's what we like to hear, because, you go back to the history of the 85 Bears. Coach Ditka was no joke. No joke. My dad, who's probably watching right now, or he'll be watching when this video gets posted, he owned a sports bar back in the day, and he opened it the year the Bears went to the Super Bowl. Right. And Ditka came in one time, and my dad said he's the nicest guy in the world off the field.
Right.
But man, it's like Kevin Butler used to come to my dad's bar. Peyton came in one time. That was kind of cool to hear that story. Hey. But they're like, you do not mess with Coach Ditka or Buddy Ryan, that whole crew. So it sounds like Coach Eberflus is bringing that back. And it's good to hear from a player's perspective that you like what he's building here. And that's, I mean, players will say like they like their coach, but it's like you're genuinely saying you like it. And that makes us feel good, because it was a rough year, but there's such a bright future ahead for this team, which we're really
this year was different for everybody. This year was different for everybody, man. But what you got to understand is, after being in the NFL for 3 seasons so far, even coming from a winning team, my old coach even used to preach that it's hard to win in this league. So I feel like a lot of time fans, they don't really understand that, and they kind of get so so used to winning or expecting things to be a certain way, but it's not easy. Like, it's not easy. Everybody's professionals. You see people say, "Oh, this team sucks." Like, their record may not be as good, but even if you look at the Lions, right, the past few years, the record didn't show too much, but all the games they lost were close games. So
Yep.
then when you see the Lions winning right now, everybody's like, "Oh, they turned this thing around." Like, no, they've been the same team for the past 4 years. But if maybe two plays go a little bit different, they would have been in playoffs the past couple years. But from a fan perspective, you're not really looking at it that way. But from a player perspective, you're in it, so you actually respect the other team and the other players that you're playing against because you understand how fast things change and how one play can turn something around. So I hope fans really look into the season we just had. Just look at all the games, man. Just see how many plays if things went a little bit different. How it could have been different. You know what I'm saying? Just take the time and just reflect on that.
So if you guys would have won all the one score games that you guys lost, if you would have won half of them, you would have been entering week 16 as a wild card team. As a
Bingo,
wild card team.
bingo.
Like like other fans around the league and a lot of Eagles fans follow us, a lot of Steelers fans follow us from the trade, like the Robert Quinn and
Yep,
we got some Ravens fans that watch us too. Shout out to you guys.
yep,
Like even they're like, watch out for Chicago. Like
yeah,
they are right there. They
yeah.
are right there. And it's so frustrating, especially as a fan. So I gotta tell you this because it happened, and I think you would find this funny. I was with Kenny Games in
Uh-huh.
Denver watching you guys play the Giants.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did an 18 leg parlay
Ooh.
for $2 to win $600.
Ooh.
I needed Treston Ebner to have one more rushing yard and it would have hit. And he
Dang.
was 1 yard short. And I was like, oh my, and it was a one score game. And I remember sitting there, I was like, I don't even care if he doesn't get the 1 yard. I just want the Bears to win this game because they can play with this team. And then look at the Giants. They go and they make a playoff run.
They're another one of those teams.
Yeah, they flipped the culture there too. Daniel Jones looked like a completely different player.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, it's you got like the Bears. I'm telling you, man. Like
Yeah.
I know from a player, like from a fan to a player, you guys did great this year. I don't care what the record says because the future looks so bright. Justin Fields looked like a whole different player, and I'll kind of lead with that into the next question for you. Is you got to like literally see Justin Fields every day when you were at
Yes.
work and work
Yes.
very closely with him. We see, he shows a lot of love on Twitter to the fans. Like he's very active and like what's crazy is that he posts on his IG story at like 3 a.m, the day after a game of him like working out in his basement, dripping sweat.
Mhm.
Like what change did you see in him from training camp to the end? What were the biggest improvements and what do you see for the future of Fields?
I feel like what I'm saying, definitely his confidence, His confidence it was building as the season went. That's kind of what it takes. You gotta get in, you gotta mess up, you gotta see things, you gotta be able to have things to correct and build on in order to get better. And I feel like, the coaching staff, Coach Getsy did a great job of kind of switching our offense around a little bit to fit Justin. Once we made a few changes, man, Justin started being dang near the best player in the league to me. I'm saying like, man, he need to be MVP. Like he was going crazy. But I would say definitely his confidence built a lot to where, what I'm saying, he was more in his shoes to where he felt like, all right, if we need a play to be made, I'm gonna make it. And what I'm saying, we're gonna keep pushing forward. Simply that's it. If we needed a play to be made, he was very comfortable with saying, all right, put it on me.
Love that. We need a leader at the quarterback position. Chicago has struggled with that for a long time. Pretty much. I mean, Jay Cutler was a pretty good quarterback for Chicago. I think Mitch Trubisky should definitely get some credit for the situations he was put in,
Yeah.
and that's I think yeah. I mean, like, hey, I love Mitch. I'm a Mitch fan. I think he did fine. We've had some weird quarterbacks over the years, man. But for Fields to walk out there, break the records that he broke, be the electrified player, and and hearing from his teammates, especially like one-on-one right now, that gives us a lot of hope. So it's good to hear that, and also it's good to hear like throw that nice comment about Getsy out there.
Yeah.
Is Getsy's playbook is way different than what we've dealt with the last couple of years. As a player, what do you enjoy most about Getsy's playbook?
I would say, man, he's always ready to put it all out there. Like he's not afraid. I came from Tennessee, which is a very similar. It comes from the same offensive tree. So me coming here with Coach Gessie, it really wasn't too much that I needed to, adjust to with the playbook because I was already in it. I'm already familiar with it. So I was really just the guy in the running back room helping everybody else understand and see where to hit things, see how things work. And that was kind of my role this year, to be like a mini coach until I got my time. So that was kind of fun. But nah, Coach Gessie, he does a great job. He's very smart. He knows what he's doing, and he's just trying to, what I'm saying, just put guys in the best position to make plays.
So one more question before we log off here.
Mhm.
And it is related to football.
Mhm.
So at this season, who was the most energetic guy in the locker room, win or loss, before game, pregame? Who's the guy that got everyone pumped up every game?
Oh, that's easy. Matt Adams.
Matt Adams?
Bro, he's crazy. Did you not see the Buffalo game? He's out there, no shirt. It's negative
Yeah,
30
he's
something
nuts.
degrees wind chill. Like literally from that Green Bay game, the Buffalo game, the Eagles game, the Minnesota game. Like he's no shirt outside. I'm like, bro, what is you doing? Like, no, don't do that. But that's just who he is. He's like that every day. How you see him on Monday is how you gonna see him on Sunday. How you see him on Tuesday is how you gonna see him on Wednesday. Like he's every day. Matt don't change. High energetic guy. You can come in from a Sunday game. Everybody's body's feeling beat up. We got to go in on Monday, work out, do this, that. Matt's first guy in there, hyper, what I'm saying, excited. Man, let's go. Let's squat. I need about 4 or 5 plates on there. Throw everything on. Like he's one of those guys. So, yeah, definitely Matt Adams, man.
I like Matt Adams too. When we signed him, like he is built like a freaking tank. Like he is a scary dude. Like when we signed him, everyone was like, "Who is this guy?" I was like, "We just got a monster." I don't care what you say, man.
Try blocking him or trying to run away from him and don't get tackled.
Ooh, so was his hits the hardest probably, or who hit the hardest?
Like I ain't gonna say who hit the hardest because my job as a running back is not get hit. So that's what I'm trying to do. I really don't know who hit the hardest because I'm not trying to let you, what I'm saying, get in position to get a clean hit. I'm gonna try and do my best to, evade you a little bit or move to the side. Like that's just how I play. Have I seen some hard hits at practice? For sure, but when you see a hard hit on TV, a lot of times those aren't the ones that hurt. It's the routine plays that you really feel the most.
Ooh. Yeah. Listen, man, I haven't played football since freshman year of high school, and I don't know. Like, you guys are awesome for what you do because I play flag football in Schaumburg every Thanksgiving, Turkey Bowl, like no matter, and full tackle, no pads, and I cannot walk for 2 weeks after because it's crazy. So you guys take it. So shout out to you guys for that.
For real, facts.
But Darrynton, I cannot thank you enough for coming on to the show today. It was great getting to know you. I'm excited for the Schaumburg event. But is there anything else that you want to let the fans know about before we log off?
I would just say, man, I appreciate y'all support for the team this past season, man. I know things didn't go the way y'all want them to go, but the future's bright. If y'all ever want to keep up with me, like I said, all my socials, everything is at It's Live, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I'm down. Just reach out. If you at me, I'm one of the most active guys on the team. So if you got a question, anything, man, just at me. Don't be surprised if you get a follow back either. A lot of times I see Chicago Bears in the bio, and I make sure I try and follow everybody back. So don't forget the event on the 26th. We will get that out to y'all. Meet and greet, come hang out, bring your kids, do anything, man. Bring your friends, all that stuff. Any other Bears fans, man, it'll be good to get to know y'all and see y'all face to face.
Absolutely. And I can testify facts. I reached out, and I said it earlier in the episode, I reached out to 18 Bears in an hour, and Darrynton responded within 2 minutes of me tweeting him, DM'd me, followed me back. So, from a fan to a player, we really appreciate it, man. And we thank you for your time in Chicago. We hope things work out, that you come back, but we wish you also success, and we can't wait for the event this upcoming in a couple weeks here.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and we will see you guys next time.